We haven't really had an opportunity to talk about Project Big Picture, but I know it's something that left both of you feeling really uneasy. You've had time to think about it over the last couple of weeks. How do you reflect on it now?
Well, I've digested it, and my initial reaction was anger because, you have to separate, Liverpool and Man United, what they are, what they mean to the fans and the people that support them, and the business behind them. Because the business behind them is doing what big business does. They're concerned with conserving their profit. And making sure that the shareholders are happy, and that's what they're doing. They're doing and they're seeing an opportunity. Football's in a bad place, like the rest of society, because of the situation we're going through. And what they're doing is that they're trying to make a power grab, I feel, so that they can conserve their asset. That that there's no. This is a long-term plan, I feel, for them, and I think it's opportunistic. It's made me angry because, and what they've done wrong is they've underestimated what football means for the normal people, what it means for me, the kids on the street, the Grimsby supporters, Leyton Orient supporters, Exeter, anyone with a dream of playing football. If you allow the big business and the billionaire owners to take control of that, you're taking the dream away of all these fans up and down the country of one day getting to the Premier League. You're even taking away the dream of Leicester, to what happened 4 or 5 years ago, which was an amazing story. And it did make me angry, Jake. And I think they've misjudged it, because football means so much to people. It's the people. We said it. It's the world's game. It's the people's game, and you don't want to see that tarnished in any way. We need to stand. I think you need to stand strong. The FA need to be accountable here, because they need to be standing strong and protecting football for everyone.
And we need to know exactly what's gone on.
Exactly, we need to know what's gone on, but we need to protect it for not for the billionaire shareholders or whatever, for the people, for the kids, the next generation, and we need to look after it, because it is so important. When we was all locked down, what was everyone saying? Can't wait for football to come back. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Give the country a whole lift, and it's just so important. And it did make me angry at the start of it, but I'm glad that the response has been what the response has. And I don't think there's many people who would disagree with me in the public, what I'm saying now, but we need to protect our game.
Joe says they sort of misread the mood of the public. I wonder whether those big clubs at the top of the Premier League have also misread what it is that makes the Premier League so brilliant. And, if you really delve into the detail of Project Big Picture, the big teams would have a potential to make 4 times the income of the teams at the bottom of the league. That would disrupt what the Premier League is. It would stop the dreams of the Leicesters. It would mean that Villa are not second and Leeds aren't third. It fundamentally changes our game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the iconic attraction to the Premier League, is that we get them scenarios, we get them situations. We don't necessarily want this league to turn into a dominant league where there's only 1 or 2 teams can win. The fact that there's 7 or 8 teams that could break into the big 4 and anyone can win it, that's what makes it so attractive. So if we end up like, in greatest respect, a league where it's Real Madrid or Barcelona, the novelty wears off, the attraction, and evidently the love for the Premier League will wear away, because no one want to watch it if you can predict what's happening week in, week out.
But we've now sort of created our bed, and we have to work out how we're going to line it, because we do have, American billionaires owning the likes of Manchester United and Liverpool. We do have a Russian billionaire owning Chelsea. You can go all the way down the Premier League and look at that. Our league has become a plaything for the rich, and the reality is they don't care, do they, about the future of Grimsby and Exeter and Gillingham? They care about their club and their stature and their power.
You say plaything, but these people want to make money.
Yeah.
They want to do it, and it's it's a great thing to be part of. We all love being part of it, and I just think, to answer your question, Jake, no, they don't care. In a nutshell, they don't care about the future of English.
So do we have a similar conversation in the not too distant future, and this continues to swim around?
Listen,
is this where we're at?
I think this is where we're at, and I think this would be the first step of doing it. And I think if you allowed this to happen, then the next step, like Joleon said, when it becomes predictable, the top 6 are the top 6, we might as well have a European Super League. And then it becomes an American-style franchise where, for big business, that works, because I've seen it out there. It's a great product, but what it does is it makes it very elitist. And I just think,
like you say, Joe, it's a great product there.
Yeah.
Like, this is a European scenario. We're not talking about just Premier League teams. We're talking about European teams being involved in this so-called Super League. So to kind of run that kind of model of franchising and kind of no relegation, it doesn't appeal to the European market, because it doesn't have the same feel. Like, you look at the American setups, they're all classed as world champions, but yet they're the only teams that play the sports they're talking about, where that's not the case in football. Hence the reason why they haven't been as successful in the MLS as the Premier League. So to take that model and just assume it's going to work here is naive, in my opinion.
That's a good point, what he said, because if I call it the people's game, the world game, right? And that's because anyone can do it. I've played with lads from South America, Africa, and it's great. You get to know the different cultures and you know where they come from. Their dream is to come from where they come from. I come from down the road, a few miles down the road, but it was still a dream to get here. And it makes that dream, I feel, harder for these people and these players and these teams, more importantly. Fred Bloggs, who goes to watch a non-league team, he still has a dream one day that team might get up there and have a cup run. Do you know what I mean? You can't take that away from people just for the sake of earning a few quid. It's bang out of order.